Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Brian Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with Nicole Thompson, Director of Membership with the Round Rock Chamber. Nicole, you've been in the area for a while because you and your husband first started a business in the area. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. My husband is from the Austin area. I'm from Waco. And as we were getting married, we built our first house in Hutto, right on the Hutto Round Rock line. And so in 2019, we started our own business. He is fifth or sixth generation contractor, and it was time for us to kind of go out on our own. And so we started a concrete business there in Hutto and started picking up a lot of jobs in Round Rock and things. I was teaching at Texas State University at the time, so hauling down to San Marcos. Eventually, we relocated down to Buda for a little bit, but came back up to Round Rock as soon as we could, and to be close to family and all of the things. We had a baby in 2024, so made sense to bump on back up this way.
The funny thing is, Buda actually is what got me originally to the area.
Really?
Yeah, my mentor had his original offices in Buda when there was one light. This is before the REI, way back when. And we flew here, I think it was in 2000, to go see him. And he had his first classes there, and it became the Wizard Academy in Chapel Dulcinea. So it was Buda, but we ended up, with the northernmost Austin address where I live, and he's in the most southernmost point in Austin now. But so tell me, you had this business and you decided now to also join the chamber as this director of membership. What's the passion behind doing that?
Well, being a business owner, you think a little bit differently about money and about challenges and about your community. And you realize what kind of impact that you can have. And so for me, the chamber was a good landing spot as an individual because of my background in education and my public relations background, et cetera. But I felt that I could really have an impact here at the chamber. And one of the things that my husband and I both decided on after we had our child is that we had to reevaluate what kind of people that we wanted to be and what we wanted our lives to look like. And one of the things we both said is we wanted to be leaders, and we wanted to be counted on in a community, and we wanted to show up when people needed it. So when we were job searching this time around, I thought this was a great place for me to land, and I could support other entrepreneurs that are on that same journey as well. But then other people in the business community who are just giving back to this community as well. I wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of time talking to, business owners and nonprofit leaders in the area. What is some of the commonalities you're seeing about the leaders in this area more than you've seen before?
Oh, they are so open and warm and welcoming, and everyone is willing to get their hands dirty. There's sometimes a do as I say and not as I do attitude in some atmospheres. That's not here in Round Rock. It's very different. Everyone is leading with their actions, I feel. And I was just really inspired to just starting at the chamber. Everyone I've met has some sort of inspirational story and is struggling with something at some point or has overcome something that just continues to fill my cup individually, but also just inspire me to keep giving back in other ways and get more involved and become more invested in this community.
Now, a lot of people, I actually wrote about this today. A lot of people join the chamber. They get some kind of membership just so they can say they're part of the chamber. They may even do a ribbon cutting,
right,
and then not take advantage of what the chamber does.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to talk a little bit about why that happens. I'm very curious, but also why the Round Rock Chamber specifically is so different than many other chambers, because I keep hearing from everybody in the area that I run into that the Round Rock Chamber is one of the best out there.
Yeah. So let's start with that question, I think. The Round Rock Chamber is different because it doesn't feel cliquish. It feels very, again, open and welcoming. And I don't know exactly what has caused that. It's just a culture here that seems to be different. I was involved in some other chambers in my past life, and first internship in school, and then also right when I graduated in their Young Professionals program in Waco. And it almost felt like I was an outsider a lot of times, and everyone else knew each other, or other groups knew each other that were very active in certain pieces, but I couldn't break into any of
Mm-hmm.
those. And I think that that's very different here. It just seems like everyone is willing to invite you in and wanting you to get in and plugged in as much as possible so you can continue to contribute. Um, I like to say there's more than enough work to go around. And once you realize that, the more hands makes less work, then bringing more people in is a lot easier. And I think maybe that's kind of the mindset that's been adopted here. But in terms of members who join and then maybe don't take advantage of all of their membership opportunities, I think if you're an entrepreneur, it's really easy to get in the weeds. And then when you're working on your business so hard, especially when, you hit those growth pains, where sometimes it's you got to make sure you can make payroll for that
Mm-hmm.
week, or you have to address this issue right now. It is hot and networking is going to take a back seat today, right?
Lots
And
of fires to put out.
absolutely, always fire drills, and that's totally understandable. But having somebody in your organization that you designate as this is your job, that is your fire to put out, is the connections that we need to go and make, is important. And just kind of pulling your head up from those things. I wish that we would have joined and been more involved when we were a company, mostly because I think I would have alleviated a lot of the headaches and fires I was having to put out. Sometimes when you're an entrepreneur, you think everything is on your shoulders. And it's a lot easier to reach out to other experts like PEO companies and lawyers and bankers and accountants and all of the other things. You can't be everything to everybody, but there are other people that are there to help you as well. You just have to trust somebody and make a commitment to them.
Do you have a great example of a story, even recently, of someone who's plugged in like that and tapped into somebody at the chamber to solve a big problem?
Yeah. Okay. So the example I'm going to use is it's not my story. It's Rip Basie's story.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's on the board, and he's our momentum chair this year. He's been on council. I mean, super involved guy. But he wasn't from this area either. And when I recently met with him, I was talking to him about this. How do we make sure that people continue to come and keep getting plugged in? And so he was saying that when he moved to Round Rock, he didn't know anyone here
Mm-hmm.
at all. And he kept coming to chamber events, and maybe he'd meet one good connection at the chamber event. And then, the next time he knew that one person, he would maybe meet one other. But the key for him to go from knowing nobody to now being such a key influential person in our community was just consistently showing up. And in his words, he guessed that everybody just assumed, all right, this guy's not going away, so we might as well put him to work, right? I don't think that's the culture here now. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
much easier to break in, but consistency of showing up, consistency of being a genuine good person and connecting with people,
Mm-hmm.
and then showing that you're willing to work on things as well. I think that half the battle's showing up, right? So show up and say hi to some people, and you're going to start building some relationships eventually.
Yeah, there's no question. I'm relatively new to the chamber. We've only been here a year, but the way it's embraced us and the way it's impacted our business has been significant. And so, I definitely think it's a big opportunity for people to get involved. I do want to circle back to the one other thing, because I know that the Round Rock Chamber not only does the chamber work, and I want to kind of break down what that is, but they also are part of the economic development for the city as well.
Absolutely.
So can we talk a little bit about what chamber work is and what economic development work is?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that the chamber work is really focusing on the business community, connecting those networking pieces, and then just offering opportunities for businesses to shine, right, through sponsorships and trying to showcase some of those businesses and what we've got going on here. The economic development side of the chamber, which you're right, is unique to Georgetown for this area. They're really focusing on business retention, so keeping our excellent
Mm-hmm.
businesses here, and then bringing in new businesses as well. So recruiting in headquarters, that gets difficult because Round Rock is a little bit landlocked, right? We've
Mm-hmm.
only got so much space to work with. So we're having to get very creative, working with developers, working with the city to figure out where else can we expand. These people need this amount of space or this much energy. Where would they fit? And kind of coordinating those pieces. But then the economic development team also works on our entrepreneurship council,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the entrepreneurship events that we do. it's really a whole ecosystem that is being focused on over there. And I'm sure you've talked about this since you're on the council. But coming in as an entrepreneur, wondering what that council looked like and really wanting to make sure it was serving everything it could. I was really impressed with what they were doing already. I thought it was very well informed, and I thought it was great that they've identified that there's a difference between a solopreneur, a startup, a small business, a scaling business, because all of those businesses have different needs.
Sure.
And being able to try and service all of those pieces. So I think that that's spectacular. And then the last thing we do is workforce development and talent development. So how do we make sure that Round Rock is attractive to talent to move here, which benefits our businesses? How are we working with K through 12 to generate the workers of tomorrow and business leaders of tomorrow, not just workers, but business leaders of tomorrow, so that they're empowered in their career and they can benefit the businesses right here in Round Rock as well.
So let's dive into what makes Round Rock so attractive for entrepreneurs and business leaders.
Right. I think Round Rock is kind of just the place to be right now. It's located geographically nicely with Austin. The San Antonio corridor obviously is further south, but we're stretching up to Waco as well. So we're really centrally located. We're on that 79 corridor that they're talking about going into College Station as well. So that's just continued growth. So in terms of transportation, you're in a good spot. Especially for us in construction, we're not just doing work in one area. We're going where the work is, right? So if we're going out to Marble Falls or further, or all the way to College Station, it was just a good location for us personally. I think that's beneficial to a lot of people. The school district here is spectacular. I'm really excited. I didn't really know what all Round Rock ISD had to offer. I've heard it had been a school district. I competed against them in UIL in high school, so I knew that they were a competitor of mine. But actually getting to see some of the campuses and what all they offer, it's just mind-blowing, the things that they have. So that's attractive for families and for business owners, I think, as well, who've got kids, because you're not just a business owner, you're a family person as well, in most cases. And I think economically it's in a good area too, right? Because of its proximity to Austin, and we have some challenges because of that, with some housing shortage and affordability that we're addressing. But I think that being close to that Austin market is going to just continue to spell success for Round Rock as Austin grows. What is it? A rising tide rises all boats.
Lifts all boats.
Lifts all boats. Yeah. So I think that's kind of one of the benefits as well, just location.
Yeah, and we keep getting ranked as the top city for this and the top city for that.
Absolutely. What did we just get named? One of the top cities for safety as well.
Yep.
I mean, I think that I've had the opportunity to meet with Chief Banks as well. He's part of our leadership program and a graduate, and working with all of those things. But it's really apparent how much people care about their community here too. Individuals, not just businesses and things, but just the individuals. I've always heard people say that this is a small town feel.
Yes.
And coming from a smaller town, I went to school in Stephenville. That's a small town, right? That was my first chamber experience. And it does really have a small town feel here, even though it is much larger. People really do know everybody. It's easy to make those connections. And I think that just creates a warm, welcoming atmosphere for everybody.
Now, for you and your family, what are some of the favorite things that you get to enjoy here in Round Rock when you're not working? Because obviously you do a lot of events and a lot of things, but when you're not working.
We do. Honestly, the park system is one of our favorites, and it's all throughout Williamson County. It's spectacular. But I've got a little one, so he's 18 months right now, and parks are our jam. That's where we can spend a lot of our time. So I really enjoy the investment that things are getting put into. I believe it's Brushy Creek that has a lot of expansions that's going on. Heritage Park is going to get some big uplift as well, so we're excited about that. And I think there's just events here that I can bring the whole family to. So my parents are coming down and my husband's parents are coming down, and it becomes more than just our little unit. It's a bigger family piece that's coming from Waco and Burnett and San Antonio and all of those pieces.
This whole central Texas kind of area.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I keep saying location, because for us it is really location. We're central with our family. We're central with everything, and we can get anywhere we need to go easily.
Okay, so I'm going to ask your opinion on something.
Sure.
This is a tough one. I don't know if you saw this week, they put out a list of the top 100 desserts in the world. And Round Rock Donuts came out as number 21.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about that? Do you think it's well-deserved or overhyped? Come on.
I think it's well deserved. I'm proud that Round Rock Donuts has been here for as long as they have been. I know that they've got a massive fan base. I'm not a donuts as a dessert person though. Donuts are my Sunday morning treat or Friday morning if I've had a hard week. And that's where we're going. But we keep getting accolades like that from all our different businesses here, and I think that just kind of speaks to how great this area is. Congratulations to Round Rock Donuts for that, and I'll stop by, but on a Friday morning.
Yeah, those lines can get crazy other mornings for sure.
Yep.
Let's talk, just kind of circle back a little bit. Because you're this director of memberships, you get to see a lot of the new businesses that are coming into town. What are some of the ones that you're seeing lately that really excite you, and the new categories of businesses that are coming into town?
Yeah. We've had not a rush of, but a group of individuals that are in the AI space, which is really exciting to me because we're starting to see AI stop being this like pie in the sky, big, inaccessible piece of nebula. Nobody really knows exactly what it is, but we're starting to see that come into smaller businesses that are actionable. So making AI accessible to smaller businesses and business owners, individuals, I think that is probably the future of the economy, honestly. But I think that spells survival for a lot of businesses. If you can adapt AI in some way, that's going to make your business processes easier. And I think that means more profitability. And learning it now is key to long-term success, I feel. So seeing those smaller businesses pop up that's helping facilitate that, it's kind of exciting because it's kind of like seeing the future happening now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that some of the AI businesses, we've been in a couple of AI ribbon cuttings as well. We've had a couple of 1 million cups, talk about AI as well, a couple of those businesses. Why do you think people should be attending those events to learn about AI, as an entrepreneur, whether they're a restaurant owner or, a small accounting firm or a small marketing firm? We've got a bunch of those as well.
Right.
Why do you think it's so critical for that workforce?
Well, I think it's critical for all workforce. And I think that there has been an attitude that AI could take away jobs, right? And I don't think that that's the case. We just have to change our thinking, right? I think it's going to repurpose jobs. And so wrapping your head around AI now, figuring out there's so many data entry processes and small, minute details that I think AI can cover easily. I think that, again, it just boosts profitability, makes things easier for yourself, makes things work-life balance easier for your employees, but it also frees up so much mental space for folks to concentrate on problems that matter to the business, not the minute details, but problems and strategy and problem solving and what's that next step, right? AI can do quite a bit, but it does lack a little bit of human touch, right? So maybe start with an AI framework and then you're still going to have that human component behind it. So I think it's important for folks to come and get acquainted with that, reach out to subject matter experts for sure, because there's so much with it. You can't just dive in and learn everything about it in a couple of days where now it's actionable. So rely on people who already know that information for yourself, and then put it into practice and use it, because I think it essentially just makes everybody's lives easier.
For sure. And we've, like I said, we've plugged into a number of events, a number of experts who's been here that, yeah, absolutely, you can connect with and start knowing. Okay, so if you're a new entrepreneur, you're thinking about coming to the area or you're in the area, and you want to get involved with the chamber and you want to maybe check out some events, what are some key things that they should be checking out?
So if I'm a new person in the area, I'm coming to a mid-morning mixer first and foremost. So the mid-morning mixers, as you know, are speed networking type of events. So what's great about that is even if you're a little bit more of an introvert, it has some structure to it. So you're put in a group of about 5 people and you just kind of clump together, right? It's not like you go talk to you, right? But we give you a topic to talk about that's kind of tangentially related to business, but it's not directly tell me your story and your elevator pitch. And I think that allows people to loosen up and be themselves and let your personality shine, which means you're making more genuine connections there. And then we bust you up into those groups a couple of times. which means you're meeting a lot of people in that time period. But they're more genuine connections than maybe at a happy hour where you're just, oh, hi, and how's the weather today? And it's very surface level at first, right?
Yep.
But I will say, too, surface level conversations at the beginning of a networking event should not be something that's shied away from, because that breaks the ice. That's how you get in to the next level, right? I think people are nervous about that sometimes. So mid-morning mixer is the best way to start meeting people very quickly. I like our business after hours. If you're an entrepreneur, 1 Million Cups and Business Leader Series are cannot misses, honestly. So 1 Million Cups is more of your think tank, as I say, and then Business Leader Series is education to move your business forward, move the needle. And like I said, I wish we would have been involved in that, because some of those Business Leader Series pieces would have been so helpful for me. We were targeted by a cyber attack and just ravaged all of our accounts. I mean, weeks trying to get everything back together. And if I'd have learned a little bit more and made those connections, I would have had somebody to be able to rely on and not have worried so much about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those that transformed a whole bunch of, my wife's business as well, and being able to plug into that. Final question for you.
Sure.
If people wanted to pick your brain about either joining the chamber or how to become a more successful entrepreneur in the area, what's the first thing you tell them? And then how could they get in touch with you?
Okay, picking my brain about how to get involved. Well, of course, I'm going to tell you to join the chamber, number one, right? So, and anybody can reach out to me and figure out how to get involved. But the chamber is the first place. And then the second thing I tell you to do is really think about your passions, right? What are you interested in? What matters to you? And start kind of doing a value audit of yourself. What is it that you really want to make an impact in? And then that will kind of guide your next piece in terms of what organizations you need to meet with, and how to get involved other than that. I think our Leadership Round Rock program is an excellent way to really get involved in the city, to see everything that we have got to offer, and then to take those next steps in terms of becoming and positioning yourself as a leader. And that's one of the things we do, actually, is we'll sit down with companies and figure out who are your people that we need to position and how do we do that? What organizations do we need to connect them with? So there's a strategic piece with the chamber as well that a lot of the smaller companies don't take advantage of. And we're happy to do that with anybody.
Awesome. And if they want to get in touch with you, what's the easiest way?
Shoot me an email. So Thompson@roundrockchamber.org.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian.